If you're watching this video, it means you're very close to applying for your ILR, which is Indefinite Leave to Remain, which most of you know as PR, which is the permanent settlement in the UK. So congratulations. So if you are applying for ILR on your own, make sure you do not make the same mistakes as others are making. So today I have invited Yash from AYNJ Solicitors, where we are going to discuss about ILR in detail. What are the documents needed, checklist, what kind of gaps are allowed, what are the new announcements for ILR. If you want to know more about it, make sure you keep watching the video till the end. But before we start, a quick introduction about myself for my new audience. My name is Sarika and I have been living in the UK for the last 14 years. I work full-time in IT and during my free time, I make YouTube videos. I have two good news to share with you guys as well. First is about study abroad service. You guys already know that I can help you study abroad in any of these listed countries. You simply need to fill the form which is provided in my video description and pinned comment, and my team will reach out to you soon. If you don't hear back from them, you can send me a direct email on yourknowledgebuddy@gmail.com. Second update from me, I'm launching a job assistance service to help you find a job in the UK. I know many of you are struggling to find jobs and need more help navigating the UK job market. I'll assist you from start till the finish, including job searching, networking, and interview preparation. This is a paid service and I will take only a few students to start with. I offer two packages, one for groups and for one, which is more expensive, one-to-one consultation. If you want more details, you can email me with your CV at yourknowledgebuddy@gmail.com. So without any further delay, let's get started with today's video by introducing Yash to you guys. Hi Yash, welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy once again. And if you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Sure. Sarika, my name is Yash Dubal. I'm Managing Director at AYNJ Solicitors, which is a multi-award-winning legal 500, over 15 years experience, specialized immigration law firm based in Central London.
Awesome. Thank you. So, yes, today's topic is ILR, Indefinite Leave to Remain. So, I'm
Yes.
getting a lot of queries lately because people are in the process or they're planning on preparing themselves for ILR.
Yes.
From you, because you are an expert in this topic, I wanted to kind of just talk through what is the ILR, when should people apply for it, what are the do's and don'ts. So, if I begin, if you have to explain to anyone when are they eligible to apply for ILR, what do you have to say?
Absolutely. Typically, firstly, ILR stands for Indefinite Leave to Remain, also known as Permanent Residency, Settlement, various names of ILR. So typically, you can apply for ILR after living in the UK continuously for a period of normally 5 years, depending on the visa type. There is also 10 years of a continuous lawful residence, which is a long residency, but typically it's 5 years of continuous lawful residence in majority of visa category.
And what are the gaps allowed? Because, most of the people who come to me, they're saying, hey, I went to India because of some medical issue or emergency. I stayed for, say, 7 months.
Yeah.
Will I be able to apply for ILR? Will I be permitted or not? So what do you have to say? What are the exceptional rules around it for people who are not continuously here and they have a little bit of break?
Good question. So generally, you should not have been absent from the UK more than 180 days in any 12-month period during your qualifying residence period, right? And if you exceed this limit, there is a likely chance your ILR application could be refused. But the big but is there are exceptional rules for absences over 6 months, such as serious illness of the applicant or their close relative, conflict in applicant's country of origin, some natural disaster which is beyond your control, like volcanic eruptions or tsunamis where you cannot literally travel. So these are like compelling reasons. And if there is a genuine compelling reasons, then of course the discretion could be granted. And of course it has to be presented very well with relevant evidence as to why these exceptional rules should be applied and discretion should be applied to grant the ILR for the applicant.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Yash. So say someone is in the UK and for business purpose, their job demands them to travel across the world.
Yeah.
What if that period is more than 180 days?
Good question. I mean, first thing first, Sarika, we must appreciate 180 days in a year time. It's a very, very generous allowance for someone to be outside the UK. Very generous, which was earlier, it was very little. I've been doing this for 15 years. It was very little. Probably it was like 30 or 30 days per year or something like that. It was very little. Yeah, I do remember. It was very little allowance. That has been extended and expanded now to 180 days. So it's a very generous allowance. To answer answer your question, traveling for the business purpose exceeding this absence criteria, which is 180 days in a year time, it's not a compelling or exceptional reason
Right.
to be granted ILR. So no, that's not a good reason if you have to travel for the work purpose, which is beyond 180 days in a year. My professional view is it's not a exceptional consideration.
Okay, thanks, Yash. I had been reading around the new rules around ILR for 10-year route. Do you
Yes.
know anything about it, Yash?
Yeah. So there is a very minor change that came into place in April 2024, and I don't see it's affecting many applicants, but it's just to bring long residency ILR in line with every other ILR application. What it means is it's still same rule in terms of absences. The total absences should not exceed more than 18 months, which is 548 days, or in 1 year, the single absence cannot be more than 6 months, 184 days. But what the Home Office brought in, a minor subtle change, is say any 1 year, it should not be more than 180 days. So rolling 12 months, it should not be more than 180 days. So that's the minor change. I don't think it would impact many applicants, but it's just a minor change,
Yeah.
a technical change in the long residency ILR application from April 2024.
Good, thank you. So, based on the several application you and your team did for ILR, what are the common ILR rejection reasons have you seen so far?
First thing first, failing to meet the continuous residence requirement, and I think when we do as a lawyer, of course, we will check the full immigration history, their excessive absence, etc. But we do receive a lot of consultations. When they receive refusal, they've done it themselves, or the application was prepared very poorly. So the reason, in based on my experience of last 15 years, first thing first, failing to meet the continuous residence requirement or excessive absences from the UK, and they did not understand. They said, "Oh yeah, I was traveling for my work. What's the problem? It's a genuine job, and I should be granted ILR." No, you won't be granted ILR. So there's this misconception. So excessive absences, failing to meet the continuous residence requirement, insufficient evidence of English language. As you know, part of ILR application, you need to submit English language requirement, evidence of English language requirement plus life in the UK test. Some of the applicant cannot even pass life in the UK test. So that could be a reason of refusal, criminal conviction, or breach of immigration rule, which has, could be a potential. These are like the big reasons of ILR application refusals.
Okay. So for anyone who's preparing for ILR now, do you have any kind of checklist for them so that they do not make any mistakes if they're applying on their own?
I mean, there are like a typical standard checklist. The document, of course, you want to collect is, of course, your valid passport over last 5 years or 10 years, whatever is applicable. BRP, which will be now obsolete from December 2024. But if you have that, great. Your English language test, life in the UK test, evidence of your financial requirement, proof of your employment or self-employment. So all these standard document. But one thing I want them to focus is the absences. Calculate that meticulously. One more tip for your audience, which is really big tip, is the day you leave the UK. Let's say you are traveling abroad for a holiday. So the day you have left the UK, the day you come back does not form a part of your absences.
Okay.
So what it means is, let's say you are leaving on 14th of September 2024, and then you are coming back on 15th of September. Yeah, you stayed outside your head 2 days, but that's a zero absence, because the day you left,
Counted.
it's in the UK. The year you come back, you are in the UK, so it's a zero absence, right? Likewise, like for you are leaving on 14th September, coming back on 16th September. The only absence is 1 day because you were absent for 15th September. So sometime it might help. This trip might help if you have a lot of travels. It can give you literally 2 days extra every trip, and if you have done 100 trips, extra 200 days in your pocket straight away.
Thank you very much. The other question which I'm going to ask, because people are asking me, when I applied for my ILR, I had submitted like a screenshot of the leaves that I've applied in my company. And what if the company is small enough, they don't have a proper leave system? If they have to record the absences, do they need a letter from HR, or what kind of evidence is needed to prove that they have applied for leave during that period?
Yeah, based on my experience, like when we help clients to submit their ILR application from their skilled worker visa, this is a mandatory requirement nowadays. When you apply for ILR from skilled worker, you need to get a letter letter confirming your annual leave from the employer throughout the 5 years of qualifying period. So ideally and simply just ask your employer to confirm your absences, your annual leave on the letterheaded paper. Wonderful. Sometime you might have left the employment and you cannot be in touch, or probably that previous employer is not responsive. What you can do is two things. One is, print out your travel history, or, tickets, air tickets, travel tickets, or stamps on your passport that can highlight the days you were absent, plus at least an effort, an email to the previous company's HR that, I need this, and an effort that you made an email, that would be good enough. If you can't get it from them, there isn't much you can do. So that's the best you can do in these circumstances. Otherwise, ideally, simply just get a letter confirming your absences. That would be much, much good evidence to submit with the application.
Okay, I think this was really important tip. Actually, people were asking, what if I'm employed, they're not responding, how do I get that leave absence and all? I think this is a good information. Thank you, Yash. Now, the last question which I want to ask is not actually related to ILR, but this is a genuine scenario where I'm getting a lot of queries is around people who are being made redundant now, say on skill visa. Yeah. And from the day the company gave you notice, basically they are saying, you have 60 days to find another job, and you don't find us another sponsorship job, you have to leave the country. However, people are not getting any email or a letter from home office. So when does this 60 days start? Is it when the company informs you, or should they wait for that letter from home office?
So the 60 days starts from the day home office issue the curtailment letter. A very important tip for the audience is make sure your contact details are up to date with the home office. So when you have submitted your application, any application, previous application, you have submitted your email address to the home office. Home office nowadays communicates only via email. So make sure you continuously, very diligently check that specific email address that you have supplied to the home office, including your spam and junk, very diligently. If you miss that, onus is on you, not on the home office. You can't go and argue, oh, I missed the email. That's not a good reason. So that's number one. If you are not sure, then you can use the link on the home office website to update your contact details. So we do advise majority of our clients, hey, why don't you just go and update your contact details? Make sure it's very precise and correct contact details, including your address, your email address, and phone number with the home office, which you can do it in 5 minutes. So, and I can supply, we can supply, your audience with a link in the description where they can go and check and update the contact details with the home office. Very simple, straightforward. So once you have the correct contact details with the home office will communicate there via email. When they drop that email with the curtailment letter, that's when the 60-day notice starts.
Okay.
And your valid leave to remain then expires on that curtailed date of the visa. So that's where the continuous lawful residence expires. Otherwise, your status, as long as you stay in the UK throughout the period, even after you have been out of job, still you are on skilled worker visa.
Okay. So confusion lies here. Say I have not received that email from home office now, and I'm still looking for a job. So I don't have a job, so I cannot pay taxes to the UK government, right? And say after 3 months, I get a letter from home office, and then I have secured a visa sponsorship job. So say 3 months when I did not have a job, it means I did not pay taxes. When I apply for my ILR after 5 years, considering I'll count this time as lawful continuation period within the UK, but I have not paid the taxes for 3 months. Will that be a problem for ILR? Will they not check, hey, the taxes were not paid because you did not have a job or something like that?
The answer is no, it's perfectly fine. You are just in between jobs, as classic scenario, and that would not be a detriment deciding your ILR application.
Okay. I thought they are going to check because in the contract it says you should be having...
No, not at all. I mean, it can be even few weeks, few months as well. It doesn't matter. It's fine as long as you had that continuous lawful residence, your visa was not curtailed. And as soon as it got curtailed, before the curtailed visa expired, you switch into another employer, got the valid leave, you're perfectly fine. And as long as you finish like continuous lawful residence of 5 years, you would be eligible for ILR.
Okay. Yes. What are the current timelines when people apply for ILR? What do you know from your team?
Yeah, a really good question. As of September 2024, the typical time it takes up to 6 months by post. But if you pay for the super premium service, which is £1,000, you can get the decision from the home office within 24 hours. The ILR fees as it stands for per applicant is £2,885. So yeah, I mean, mostly majority of our clients, they pay for super super premium service, get the decision within 24 hours. It's just that
Good.
they just want to know the result, right? Let's
Yeah,
get it out of the way.
yes.
Paying extra £1,000. Yeah, it's a good investment,
Yeah.
but it's a personal choice for sure.
Because people were waiting for it for 5 years, people even for 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to wait anymore. Yeah, it's true.
I know. I had been through that, so I know it. Thank you very much, Yash. I think we covered a lot about ILR. Any final tips or suggestion from our audience before we wrap today's video?
No, make sure you plan ahead in terms of getting your life in the UK test done. Start calculating your absences during the weekend well ahead. Checking your travel history, get the letters from your employer if you have to. So planning ahead is very important, right? Seeking professional legal advice if you're not sure of something, very important. And we will, of course, I'll share with you the contact details link, which you can put in description for the benefit of audience. And that be it.
Yeah, I think there's one more document I remember, at least during my time I submitted, was a letter from employer saying that you're still needed for the future as well. And what is your current salary, your job code, something.
Yes, it's a very specific requirement for someone who is on a skilled worker visa switching into ILR. So they need this letter where the employer is confirming that the person is required for foreseeable future, their SOC code, their salary rate. That's mandatory document. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Yash. Thank you very much. I think it's going to help my audience a lot. And
Pleasure.
thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge with us.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Yash.